So I grew up military. I was a daughter of a person who served in the military, in the United States military. And I heard things and experienced things that just really raised questions inside of my own household, like, what is ISIS? What is this whole Operation Iraqi Freedom? Like, I didn't understand any of that because I was only 13 at the time. And in that time, that's a very big time for a child's life, and we start to question everything around us. So I questioned it, and I wanted to learn about Islam, and I wanted to learn about, what is this stuff going on over here in the Middle East, and why is my dad having to go do these things that I just didn't get. It didn't make any sense. Some of it still doesn't make sense, but that's a political issue, never mind. Alright, so I'm 13 years old at the time, and I'm starting to question authority and understand and learn. This part is kind of politically related, but I started to learn a little bit of Arabic then, just a little bit, and it was enough for me to recognize that the stuff that our news was producing at the time was blatantly lying to the general public of the American people. I could understand what the news lines were reading at the bottom of the screen. It had something to do with donations in Ramadan. I don't know anything else. I don't remember anything else from it. But our news station was like, oh, this guy's calling for terroristic arms and we're all gonna die. Like, oh my God. Like, I knew right then and there that there was something up with this, and I needed more to understand what is Islam and what is going on with it. I was extra curious now. Alright, so after a couple of years of trying to research and understand more about Islam, I become acquainted with a few people from Lebanon, and they're the main people who influenced me to be encouraged or more inclined to Islam. These people were kind, they were encouraging, they never said anything malicious towards me because they understood that I was out here trying to understand something and not just be vile about it. And through them, they taught me a little bit of Arabic, they taught me a little bit of Muslim culture, they helped me understand the difference between Islam and regional culture. I don't know how to explain that. There's religious culture and regional culture. Lebanese culture is different from Islam. It's not the same thing. I understand completely. They explained these things to me. They taught me these things. Okay, so through these friends, and over several years, I asked them questions. Oh, what is this? What is that? What is tafsirs? What is Sahih Bukhari? I didn't understand at the time when they explained it, the difference between Sunni and Shia, and understanding how everything is divided up, and you have Salafi, Maliki, Hanbali, and Sanafi, and Sufism, and all of these other things that kind of just branch off or schisms of Islam. And I didn't understand that, but I did understand the differences. So they did explain to me a lot of the questions that I had as an American at that time. Then you fast forward to, I think I was 16 years old, and my mom finally cracked down and allowed me to purchase a Quran. Once I received my first Quran, the guy who sold it, he was so happy to sell me this book. I don't know how, I can remember how happy he was, and it was adorable. I was very thankful to have this book. And I went home, and as a Christian, I still washed my hands before I ever touched the Bible, so I did the same for the Quran. I gave the Quran the exact same respect as it is God's word, as I would give to the Bible or the Torah, and I treated it with the utmost respect. And I opened it and I started reading with pure curiosity. There wasn't, let me learn this knowledge, it was just, let me learn. what is this? What is up? Well, what's here? And I was very excited to just dive in and read it. And as I started reading, it was like a letter. So pardon me, this part always gets me a little emotional. Reading the Quran for me is like getting a special letter from God. Like, it's so beautiful to know how much He protects us and how much He loves us. And I'm sorry, I cry every time I tell this part. It's just amazing, and it's beautiful how, you have a chance in Islam. You're not damned to hell. You might make mistakes, but you know what? God's sitting here like, hey, make your prayers so I can forgive you. I just want to forgive you. I just want you to come home. And it's just like, wow, He loves us so much that He gives us so much opportunity to be forgiven and learn our lessons that He has sent us here to specifically learn. Alright, so I'm 16 years old. I have now a Torah, a Quran, and a few different Bibles. And I say different Bibles because the Catholic Bible is not the same type of Bible as the Protestant Bible. My family was raised Lutheran, and that is a Protestant denomination of Christianity. And Orthodox Catholicism is also a different denomination of Christianity, and Lutheranism directly denounced Catholicism in that aspect. Totally different topic. So I definitely made sure that I studied up on my religions, and I wanted to make a wise and educated decision. So by the time I was about 20 years old, I was living the very typical American dream life, just so typical. And I definitely took, you could say, like a break from, and with my religious break, if you will, I took a kind of a hiatus from religion for a few years. Now, during high school, from middle school through high school, I was devoted Christian. I went to Sunday school every day. I was at the church every day. I did studies. I did, my prayers, everything. And I was really devoted in Christianity at the time. I went to college, and I went through an extremely huge shock of reality. I got hit in the face. So I decided to take a while to kind of step back and look and just like watch everything, because I didn't understand how people couldn't believe in God, or that they thought that atheists. I could not wrap my mind about it. But I'm open-minded, and I kept the curiosity. And so fast forward 10 years to 3 years ago, I started reading Quran again. I started to get back into religious things. I started questioning all over again. And finally, in this past year, I went on a date with a Muslim man who was like, why don't we just take you to a masjid and get these answers for you? And literally, he called me and was on his way and coming to pick me up and take me to the masjid. And I was like, yeah, okay. I was scared. Of course I was scared. I did not know that you could just like walk over into a masjid and be like, hey guys. And they were like, oh hey, what is up? Are you feeling like converting today? It was cute. It was kind of like that, not really, but it was kind of like that, very essential. After 4 hours, I did end up taking my Shahada, and so finally, this past January, I decided to take my Shahada in front of the Imam. No, I did not have it recorded. I felt like that was very personal. Other than that, since converting to Islam, I have only been thankful for converting to Islam. And I actually really like wearing hijab. And, it's not the most modest, but we're starting.